Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the ARC. Welcome to the Ford Listening Room, virtually, and welcome to the Family Room series that we are presenting here from the ARC. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. The first thing for you to know about this evening is you are not missing out. We are at the ARC. We are broadcasting to you. However, there is not an audience here. There isn't a secret audience who got to come in. And it's a new experience for us, and it's kind of an exciting one. For anyone who is with us who might not be familiar with the ARC, we want to tell you just a little bit about who we are and what we do. The ARC is a nonprofit organization, and what we do is present over 300 shows a year on this stage. We also present other shows at other venues around Southeast Michigan. We present the Ann Arbor Folk Festival each year. So we're a busy place, and we never planned on this pandemic experience, and we never planned on learning right now how to do a live streaming show to bring you into this room with us to experience this excellent music. We are very, very excited tonight to have Joe Jencks with us. We are honored and excited. Joe is a favorite of ours. He's been playing the ARC stage for a long time, and I'm so thrilled that he's here with us tonight. So we'll get him started very shortly. If you haven't yet, this is the point when I usually say, would you please turn off your cell phones? It seems like a little bit of a joke, but it's not exactly. It is, we won't hear your cell phones tonight. However, a listening experience at the ARC is really about listening. And so I invite you and encourage you to eliminate as many distractions as you can while you're with us tonight for this show and really lose yourself in this music. That's why the ARC exists. That's why we are here. And that's why it was really important to us to get back in here for our first show from this stage since early March. So we fully intend to return to the stage regularly with an audience. Hopefully you will be in the audience. But for now, this is what we have to offer you. So again, thank you for joining us for the ARC Family Room series. Just one point of note for those of you who are watching on a couple of different platforms. Joe is going to be working primarily with a set list this evening, so he's not going to see your comments or requests in real time, but still be a part of that comment thread. Talk to your friends, meet new people, say great things about Joe. He will see them later, and it'll be a wonderful evening. So again, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Alice, and I am the house manager here at the ARC, and we will get started very momentarily with Joe Jencks. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the ARC. I'm so excited to be here. For those of you that have been kindly tuning into my broadcasts and my streams from my home studio, I have to tell you, this is such a joy to be in a space where I get to work with an incredibly well-seasoned and well-trained tech crew, where I don't have to be videographer, sound engineer, producer, performer all at once. I just get to be a musician. And the ARC is a venue that since 1965 in multiple different locations has really been bringing the finest in folk music into the community from all over the United States, North America, and around the world. And standing on this stage is an absolute honor anytime, and I'm thrilled to be the first live broadcast from the ARC. So I'm going to start out with a song many of you know of mine, a bit of an old standby for me, but it's a song that I wrote in the morning that Pete Seeger passed away. And please feel free to sing along from home, and I'll imagine you all sitting here at the ARC with me. It's called Let Me Sing You a Song. Asked me to tell you about my neighbors and my friends, to talk about the who and what, the where and how and when. But I won't give you anything you don't already know. But if you'd like, I'll sing that list of songs before I go. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Well, you say it's un-American to do the things I do. Well, I sing for justice, liberty, and civil rights, it's true. Well, I say it's un-American to ask me how I vote, how I pray, or what I believe. But here's a song I wrote. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. In 1955, Pete Seeger was called before the House Un-American Activities Committee. He was called to answer questions about the songs he was writing and the people he was writing them about, who he was writing them for. He was asked questions about who was or wasn't hiring him, about people he was collaborating with, about political beliefs and houses of worship that he may or may not have attended. All questions he understood to be in violation of his constitutional rights. And so his answer to those questions was both clear and vague at the same time, quite a gift. He mostly just said this. He said, "Gentlemen," and it was all gentlemen at the time, sadly. He said, "Gentlemen," using the term loosely, "I'm just a songwriter and a singer. I travel all over the world and I sing songs that serve to lessen the distance between people. As for these other accusations that you're making, well, I don't know really how to respond, but I brought my banjo with me today, and if you'd like, I'd be happy to sing some of those songs for you." They declined his gracious offer, and the questions continued, until finally one of the congressmen stomped his foot and said, "Mr. Seeger, are you pleading the Fifth Amendment?" And Pete looked at him very earnestly and he said, "Why, no, sir. I'm pleading the First Amendment." If I had a hammer, I'd have her in the morning, I'd have her in the evening, all over this land. I'd have her out danger, I'd have her out warning, I'd have her out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. If you want to send me to prison, I guess that's the way it'll be, 'cause I won't give you fodder for your paranoid machine. If the price of my silence is shackles, well then fellas, take me away, for I will live to sing again and rise with a brand new day. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Sing it with me once more. Let me sing you a song about the people that I love, the poets and philosophers, the workers and the wanderers, the ones who walk the picket lines, who dare to stand and fight, and the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Yes, the ones who hold their babies close and rock them through the night. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. It really is a treat to be here at the Ark. And this next song I'm going to sing is one that was written by my dear friend Kat Eggleston. She lives out in Washington State, but a lot of you know her from the folk circuit. And she lived in Chicago for a long time. And one of my favorite songwriters. This is called the Lady Juliana. It's about the women that were sent from the Commonwealth down to Australia on prison ships, and about one woman in particular, Mary Wade, who was on the very first prison ship to sail for Australia, carrying primarily women as cargo. Down beside me, Elizabeth Rose, I've a story to tell. It's worth the saying, Elizabeth Rose, worth the hearing as well. This is not my first home as well. I'm just going to start that over because everything in 2020 is a beta test. That's just how it is. And so I'm going to take my mulligan for the night on that because I want you to hear Kat's song the way it should be sung. Sit down beside me, Elizabeth Rose, I've a story to tell. It's worth the saying, Elizabeth Rose, worth the hearing as well. This was not my first home as well. You may know I was born far away. First set my foot here long ages ago, 70 years to the day. You know, I'm going to take one more mulligan on that just because. Sorry, Kat, I'm slaughtering your song. I love you anyways. I hope you still love me. Sit down beside me, Elizabeth Rose, I've a story to tell. It's worth the saying, Elizabeth Rose, worth the hearing as well. This is not my first home as well. You may know I was born far away. First set my foot here long ages ago, 70 years to the day. What I recall of the London streets in the year 1789, there was no shelter, little to eat, there was nothing that I could call mine. Apprehended for stealing another girl's clothes, I was sentenced to sail away. Not 12 years old then, Elizabeth Rose, no older than you are today. I remember the day we sailed away on the Lady Juliana. It was the whole world to a young Mary Wade before we made land in Australia. So we set sail for the end of the world, first ship of the second fleet. Cargo of convicts, women and girls, dredged from the city streets. Most of us prostitutes, pickpockets, thieves, we lived our life on our own. None of us wept for our home.
small crime had brought little more than the price of one loaf of bread. Not for the whims of the mad King George, I'd have gone to the gallows instead. And had we stayed, we all would have paid that same terrible cost. But we landed alive, most did survive, only 5 souls had been lost. I remember the day we sailed away on the Lady Juliana. It was the whole world to a young merry way before we made land in Australia. Well, they may judge us in England today as the rabble weeds they swept from their land. But I'll leave it to God on my reckoning day to say where the fault truly stands. No matter how we try to pretend, we are savage just under our skin, as we see very well in the fine-mannered men in the court of the English king. The rule of the sea and the law of the land are different, as everyone knows, and the oldest profession is much in demand, and so we fare better than most. Though it is rare for fortune to smile on those who reach Botany Bay, for Elizabeth Rose, my granddaughter's child, life is better today. I remember the day we sailed away on the Lady Juliana. It was the whole world to a young merry way before we made land in Australia. I remember the day we sailed away on the Lady Juliana. It was the whole world to a young merry way before we made land in Australia.
So I'm going to do something that you're not supposed to do from a stage. You're not supposed to do in a television broadcast. Something you're not supposed to do in public as a theater person, as a performer. But I'm going to break the fourth wall for a moment and just acknowledge the peculiarity of the times that we find ourselves in. Many of you have heard me sing that song effortlessly many times before. But for the last 4.5 months, the only performances I've given have been from a studio in my basement. And I have to own the fact that standing on this stage, in this room, that I am experiencing something very much akin to agoraphobia. The walls are too far away. The space is too big. I have grown accustomed to a small space. I've grown accustomed to being in small places and distant from other people. And so I just want to say that as I wrestle with my own anxiety, and there's plenty of it, even leaving home today, there was a certain amount of anxiety. I am sure that there are others of you that are wrestling with your own anxiety about being out in the world. It was nerve-wracking to confine ourselves to small spaces. And now as we test the waters and figure out where it's okay to get bigger and take up space again, there is also a level of anxiety there as well. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. It's easy to presume that those of us on this side of the microphone have it together all the time, that everything that we're doing is going to be perfect. But the truth of the matter is, we are human, you are human, and 2020 clearly is a unique year. Put a giant asterisk by it and call it a day. Except in November. And then you need to get out and vote. I will say that again. You also need to take the census. If you have not filled out those questions, they will change many, many things in the lives of many people if they are accurately filled out. So if you have not yet done the census, please do that.
One moment of mercy was all that it took to drive me clean out of my head. A piece of my heart had been sleeping. We're just falling apart tonight. I'm going to go with the idea that the more human I am, the more you love me. I could be wrong about that, but I should also tell you, as long as we're owning moments of humanness, that the corn pollen is really playing with me. But I guess it's all the pollen. But where I live in DeKalb, Illinois, you've seen pictures of the ear of corn with the wings on it. That's where I live, and it's getting the better of me, I have to own, but we'll take another swing at that as well. One moment of mercy was all that it took to drive me clean out of my head. A piece of my heart had been sleeping so long that I had given it for dead. Better than I have traveled this journey, and none have returned here unchanged. Lilacs in bloom and the thunderhead looms, and my lonely heart prays for the rain. Let it rain, oh let it rain. Let the waters of love wash away all the pain. Let the hope of redemption be all that remains. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. When the ancients and mariners looked toward the heavens at night, did they yearn for the day? Were they transfixed by the wonders they saw in the lights that guided their way? To believe that there is no sadness so great that it cannot heal. Sometimes the longing inside consumes me so much. Well, it's all that I feel. Let it rain, oh let it rain. Let the waters of love wash away all the pain. Let the hope of redemption be all that remains. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. I stand on the ledge and I cling to the edge for dear life, afraid to let go. What if love's call pulls me into a free fall? What then? Tell me what then? Somewhere way out there, beyond right and wrong, there's a place that I long to see. If I don't return, I'll be wishing you well from wherever I happen to be. Let it rain. Let it rain. waters of love wash away all the pain. Earth, the hope of redemption, the all that remains. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. Let it rain, oh, let it rain. Let the waters of love wash away all the pain. Earth, the hope of redemption, be all that remains. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain.
Well, thanks for hanging in there. Got Corey running the video tonight, Joe Giza running sound, Kent running lights. Thank you, fellas, for doing a great job this evening. Shout out to Anya Siglin here at the Ark, and Barb, Emily, and Alice, and all the folks making this venue function even now. The very first time these doors have been open for performance or music has been played on this stage in months. What a joy to be here. I'm going to play a song I wrote with some school kids north of Chicago in Waukegan about Dr. George Washington Carver. It's called Peanut Man.
Back in 1864, Diamond Grove, Missouri, the boy was born in slavery. He would change the world. Very first African-American to enroll at Iowa State. He earned a bachelor and a master's degree. He really changed his fate. Peanut Man, sweet potato man, cared about people, cared about the land. Loved to work with plants, make things grow. Dr. George Washington Carver, he was a good, good man to know. He became a scientist, a botanist profound. He loved to solve big mysteries, what grew in the ground. Sweet potato rubber, candy, soap, and glue. A professor at Tuskegee, a man whose heart was true. Peanut Man, sweet potato man, cared about people, cared about the land. Loved to work with plants and make things grow. Dr. George Washington Carver, was a good, good man to know. When the farmers grew all cotton, nearly killed the soil flat, he told them to grow peanuts to put the nitrogen back. Education is the key to unlock the golden door of freedom. Pay attention to the things you learn. Someday you're gonna need 'em. Peanut Man, sweet potato man, cared about people, cared about the land. Loved to work with plants and make things grow. Dr. George Washington Carver, he was a good, good man to know. Peanut Man, sweet potato man, cared about people, cared about the land. Loved to work with plants and make things grow. Dr. George Washington Carver, he was a good, good man to know.
It is an interesting thing to drive from Chicago on a Friday. More like through Chicago on a Friday. During the summer to Ann Arbor. And that's true anytime. But I expected there to be a little more restraint as a result of the times being what they are. But you hit 94, once you get into Michigan, there's basically a straight line across the bottom of Michigan that's 94. Just, right across. And it's like the American Autobahn. There seems to be no actual speed limit. And it's kind of a trip. After living inside a house, after living at walking paces most of the time. To be on the road and traveling highway speeds and thinking, wow, this is really fast, and have people whip by you doing twice the speed that you're doing. But in that story when I was growing up, I'm sure you heard it too, about the tortoise and the hare. I was always convinced the tortoise was going to pull that one off in the end anyways. The hare seemed reckless to me. In 2003, my oldest brother passed away. Jerry Jencks. And this is a song that I wrote shortly after his passing. I quit writing for about 8 months, and then a couple of songs came to me, and this was one of them. And I've been thinking about it a lot lately. So many people are dealing with so much. It's all about love.
I don't know how to keep on walking this line between my visions and the highway sign. I don't know how to keep on striking the spark to ignite the flames that will pierce the dark. But I'm already gone if I can't live while I'm here. Yes, I'm already gone if I can't love through the fear. It's awful hard to keep from being a wreck when I feel the breath of the reaper cold on my neck. It's hard to live inside the rhyme and the rhythm of the song, to respirate my gratitude and pretend that nothing is wrong. But I'm already gone if I can't live while I'm here. Yes, I'm already gone if I can't love through the fear. So I hang on tight and watch the slipping sand, try to hold the contradictions in the palm of my hand. For every grain that tumbles, there are more that remain. But the hand that closes to a fist loses all that it contains. So let it crack wide open, let this broken heart bleed. Let it soak through the soil and nourish the sea. Let the water from my eyes be a gift to the parched land. Till all my sisters and brothers rejoice hand in hand. 'Cause I'm already gone. If I can't live while I'm here, yes, I'm already gone. If I can't love through the fear, if I can't love through the fear, sisters and brothers, we must love through the fear. It's all about love. 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 Sing it home. It's all about love. It's all about love.
Got to pull up the electric bouzouki now, which is a punishable offense in some counties, I'm sure. But it's my latest instrument. Both of these bouzouki's are made by my friend Baird Blaine down in Fayetteville, Arkansas, a marvelous luthier who keeps me well connected to inventive ideas. This instrument is truly one of a kind. And this is a song written by my dear friend John Brooks up in Toronto. It's called Mercy. Admire most a melody and all it could do with love and words. I used to admire most a poet who with a pen untangles this world into verse. I used to admire all that I thought profound. Plagiarize the prophets and the saints. Oh, but now that I'm older, oh, it's mercy that I admire most. Oh, it's mercy that I admire most. My low youth for a fallow spectacle, line snaking round coliseums. Well, I moshed in the drench under fame's sophist clenched, and I paid hard-earned money just to see 'em. Oh, but now that I'm older, oh, it's mercy that I admire most. Oh, it's mercy that I admire most. I admire
steady in their routine. I admire decision and the mind that endures it, and those who speak though they be shamed. I admire the reckless voices for the voiceless, and the man standing in the path of tanks. Oh, but now that I'm older, oh, it's mercy that I admire most. Oh, it's mercy that I admire most. Oh, it's mercy.
This next one goes out to my friend Phil down in Cincinnati, a song that was inspired by his life. Though not a factual representation in all ways. Bob Franke once said to me that songwriting is necessarily fictionalizing even a true event, that there's something about turning it into a song that just takes it a couple of degrees away from absolute fact. And Bob, if I misunderstood you, I apologize, but I remember talking at length about this, and there's something about writing a story that makes it necessarily just a little bit different. Poetic license, some say, and I suppose that's how Phil gained an extra child in this song. For the sake of a rhyme scheme, that's just one example. But I do try, and I think many of you out there who are songwriters try to quantify the world around us in song. Try to use our skills as journalists to tell the stories that aren't necessarily being told in the mainstream media. And there are so many stories right now that are happening that are not being told in the mainstream media. So what I want to say to all of you who write and create and make art in any form, those of you that have always thought, well, God, if I had the time, I would do that. I would do those things. If I had the time, I would learn how to paint. I would write that book. I would learn to create poetry. I would learn to play an instrument. If I had the time, I would learn how to cook better. I would make all my own food. I would buy nothing from the store other than raw ingredients. If I had the time, I would learn how to knit. I would learn how to make paper by hand. If I had the time, I would walk more. If I had the time, I would spend just a little more time every day with my children. If I had the time, I would spend just a little more time writing letters. If I had the time, I would learn how to make origami. If I had the time, I would tell that person how much I love them. Guess what? You got the time. You got all the time in the world. So write that letter. Maybe go to the yarn store properly masked, or mail order. Get those knitting needles. Start the yoga. Learn how to play that mandolin that's been sitting on the wall all those years. Get a ukulele. Take an online class. You got 4 fingers. It has 4 strings. Even if you don't have 4 fingers. It's an easy place to start. You don't have to make a Picasso. You can pick up a paintbrush. My friend Phil, when he was young, he picked up a welding torch. And He spent his life dedicated as a welder with the Railroad Mechanics Union. He spent his life dedicated to the safety and well-being of other people, to making sure that the equipment that was on the road was ready to go and in the finest shape. We sometimes forget that every worker is an essential worker. Every worker has a place in the world. Every worker is needed to make the whole system function. So be kind to the workers out there. If you're upset about something, figure out a better way to take it out than on the bank teller or the person who just handed you lunch through a window. Figure out what it is that you're actually frustrated about, and take the time which you have on your hands and do something about that. But keep being kind to each other.
Well, if you have a minute, John, I sure feel like hell. The union vote is coming up and things aren't looking well. You know I'd like to stand up for the things that I believe, but it seems that my life's not as simple as it used to be. I was born in Tulsa back in 1951. They say that I could drive a spike before I learned to run. In a land of dust and corn, the rails spoke a steel truth. The men that kept them working were the heroes of my youth, for they sang, come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. When I was a young man and I thought to run away, a freight train, it came through our town and I got on one day. Rode it down to Gallup and then back to Santa Fe. Everywhere I listened, I could hear the railway workers singing, come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. 1969, I met a soul to match my life. But her father said that I must have a job to take a wife. So I looked around at all the work that I might do, found that it was time for me to sing the only song I knew. Here come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Now we have 5 children and they bring me joy each day. But the bills keep getting higher and I've nothing left to pay. The union says that we must strike and stand up, don't you see? But I've just got too damn many people who depend on me. Here come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I-do-I-day, working for the railway. At the heart of every worker is the welfare of his kin. And to walk away from pay that's good, it seems, is such a sin. But the bosses, they don't understand how hard I work each night. And I've got mouths to feed, and so I do my part till daylight, singing, come diddle-diddle-I do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I do-I-day, working for the railway. Come diddle-diddle-I do-I-day, working for the railway.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to play the other song that I wrote in 2003 after my brother passed away. I actually wrote it in the spring of 2004. And it's called The Turtle. And I thought of that when I was talking about the tortoise and the hare. But the turtle is a very special animal to me for reasons that I won't go too deeply into here, because, you know, you can ask me when you catch me on Skype or catch me on Zoom or catch me on Facebook or catch me on whatever it is we see each other on. But the turtle is a very sacred animal to me. I just got to see a really cool turtle in a canal out in New York State a couple of weeks ago. It's one of those old snapping turtles that, you know, has to be at least 100 years old. Like, it's just massive. And you see him on land. You think, wow, that's got to be an interesting incarnation for that creature. And then you see him in the water. And they move with such grace.
Well, the turtle lays 100 eggs, so a dozen might survive. To wade across that sand and finally reach the sea alive. And haunted by the memories of those falling from my side, I keep reaching for that water, go headlong into the tide. Headlong into the tide, headlong into the tide. As we wander toward our destiny with a shell of guilt and shame, as we contemplate our burdens and consider who's to blame, in the face of such absurdity, we can only laugh and cry, as the cycle just continues and we breathe and grow and die. Yes, we breathe and grow and die, breathe and grow and die. And for what is it we sacrifice? For what is it we gain? If we mistake for knowledge what is only fear and pain. In the shades of disappointment, shades of sorrow, shades of gray. If we trade our love for anger, then we trade our lives away. Yes, we trade our lives away, trade our lives away. Well, then isn't it ironic? I have nothing left to say. After all the distance I have come to be with you today, I knew there would be sacrifice. I knew it from the start. But now there's no dream big enough to hold my broken heart, to hold my broken heart, hold my broken heart, to hold my broken heart, hold my broken heart.
I'm going to play a song now written by my dear friend John McCutcheon, another amazing songwriter. This was one of the first songs of John's that I learned. I've been playing several of his songs for years, but had a special request for this one tonight before the show. And it's just so appropriate for the moment. There's room here for another if you've got no place. Come here into the light where I can see your face. The cops leave us alone here back at Murphy's body shop. When the weather gets this bad, the old man leaves one car unlocked. They really gave you quite a cut. Here, this should wipe it clean. Some days, you know, it seems as though the whole damn world's gone mean. I know this ain't the Hilton, but the back seat here is free. I can see just where you've been, my friend, and you're safe in here with me. My name is William Sanders, but my friends all call me Bo. I was born right here in Gary 37 years ago. The sky was full of smoke and jobs as far as I could see, and the future shone as bright as new-made steel for guys like me. But then things went
bad so quick. Remember back in 81, like fools we all believed when they said better times would come. Now like the guys who'd hit me up for quarters when we'd meet, I scrounge for scraps of human kindness out here on the street. There's a Lila at the bar top, she's good for coffee anytime. And the lighthouse mission's warm and dry, but you gotta talk their line. And there's a faucet at the Chevron they don't turn off at night. If the weather and the luck just hold, we might turn out alright. Now me, I've got 2 girls, they're with my wife somewhere out west. If I just knew they're okay, it sure would put my mind at rest. Some days I go to the park just to watch the families come and remind myself I'm someone's dad, not just some goddamn bum. 'Cause this ain't what I asked for, no, this sure ain't what I planned. I'm not looking for a handout, but I sure could use a hand. That those who have and those who don't might be as one at last. For the climb, you know, is long and slow, but the fall comes hard and fast. There's a room here for another if you've got no place. Come here into the light so I can see your face. The cops leave us alone here in back of Murphy's body shop. When the weather gets this bad, the old man leaves one car unlocked.
Today's the day in many places where eviction notices are being handed out, where the laws that were passed to prevent people from being evicted have expired. Encourage your local lawmakers and those that represent you in Washington to continue to help those who are most hard hit and most struggling right now. They need all the help they can get. We all do. But there are a whole lot of people that are, however bad you think you have it, there's somebody that has it worse. And I say that in all honesty. Privilege is a sneaky thing. Can I get just a tiny bit more light up here on stage? Just not so much from in front, but like the infill just a little bit here. Maybe just a little bit less than that, but that's in the ballpark. You know, I'm doing this just because I can, right? I don't get to do this in my own studio. I wrote this song 2 years ago. I'm sorry that it's still relevant.
I lie to keep things simple and I lie to keep it plain. For those who cannot understand, I lie to ease their pain. I lie about my riches and I lie about my rage. I lie about the ladies and I lie about their age. I lie to cover up my lies. I lie to speak the truth. I lie to men and women, to the elderly and youth. I lie to make a deal and I lie to get back out. I'm lying when I'm silent, lying harder when I shout. I lie, oh, yes, I lie. I lie to business leaders and I lie to diplomats. I lie to politicians and those military brats. I lie to raise the numbers in the polls about my day. I lie about the Russians because someone's got to pay. I lie to cover up my lies. I hide a lie in tracks. I lie to keep them guessing and I do it real fast. I lie when it's convenient and I lie because I'm shy. Well, it's the bed I made and so it's here I'm gonna lie. I lie, oh, yes, I lie. I lie to little countries and I lie to little kids. I lie to crack things open while I'm putting on the lid. I lie right to a soldier's face. I lie about the war, but it won't make a difference, doesn't bother me at all. I lie to all the lawyers and the judges in the courts. I lie to the reporters because they lie in their reports. I lie to my own children because if no one knows the score, I can smile and lie to anyone and show them out the door. I lie, oh, yes, I lie. I lie about the shooters and I lie about the guns. I lie for recreation, hell, I'm lying just for fun. I lie about the terrorists, I lie to get more praise. I lie about the cover-ups, been lying all my days. I lie about the presidents and global heads of state. I lie about my outrage because you people take the bait. I lie on social media, I lie to pick a fight. And if you don't believe me, I'll just lie and say you're right. I lie, oh, yes, I lie. I lie about my prowess in every way I can. I lie about how great I am. I lie about my tan. I lie about the darkness while I'm turning out the lights. I ponder what new lies to tell when I can't sleep at night. I lie and say I'm sorry when I feel no remorse. I lie to keep things steady and I lie to change the course. It's the horse that I rode in on and it's making all the news. Well, I'm the world's biggest liar, but I'm telling you the truth.
Sad but true.
Well, I may not be the smartest man that ever walked on earth. And some of what's gone well for me might be an accident to birth. Oh, but deep inside, the mystery surrounding me and you is something I have come to know and hold is deeply true. Well, you may be a woman from the right side of town, going out evenings in the finest of gowns. Oh, but one thing's for certain, you know it ain't news. Sooner or later, everybody sings the blues. Well, you may be erudite or a real cool cat, a high-priced jet setter, going this way and that. But one thing's for certain, whether you win or lose, sooner or later, everybody sings the blues. Oh, lonely, we all get lonely sometimes. There's nothing anyone can do but hang on for just another day and hope to see it through. Well, you may be ironic, you may be a clown, you may swear that you'll never wear your smile upside down. But one thing's for certain, no matter the shoes, sooner or later, everybody sings the blues. Yes, one thing's for certain, you know it ain't news. Sooner or later, everybody sings the blues. Yes, sooner or later, everybody sings the blues.
Gonna go back over to the electric bouzouki for a second here and play another one here. This is a song that I wrote on the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And a lot of people think that his activism was something that he grew into when he was older. They know about his work in his 20s or 30s, but a lot of people don't realize that he was just 6 years old when he was really already starting to make life challenging for those around him, when he was making what Congressman John Lewis referred to as good trouble. And he was, let's just give a shout out to Congressman John Lewis, just a moment here, and Reverend C.T. Vivian, both extraordinary men, and they will be sorely missed. So Martin was already up to the good kind of trouble. He was questioning things, questioning the order of things, questioning his Sunday school teachers about the meaning of Scripture. He was questioning other people about injustices. And then when he and his best friend, who was white, the son of a butcher that lived across the street from the parsonage of the church that his father served, when those two boys were sent to school, they were sent to different schools. And his best friend learned a different kind of racism. And Martin learned about racism in a way. And his best friend wouldn't be his friend anymore. That's the kind of thing we got to undo. I don't know how we do it, But there's a myth that I think came crashing down this year for many people, that somehow racism wasn't a problem in this country. I know all of you listening have been aware of it your whole lives, but imagine, if you will, that there are still people out there who either don't believe that racism exists or don't have a problem with it, which is even harder to fathom. But Martin, at age 6, decided that he was going to devote his life to changing a world where that sort of injustice, where that sort of hatred was possible. And he did.
January 15th, 1929, born in the city of Atlanta. Just another preacher's kid singing in the choir. This kid had a vision, reached for something higher. 6 years old when segregation put him in his place. Started school and lost his childhood friends, questioning the order of society and faith. Many deeper truths which one cannot escape. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, keep holding on to what you know is true. Living out the teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Booker T. Washington High School was the place. He began to raise his voice on poverty and race. Headed off to Morehouse, a 15-year-old sage, chasing dreams of dignity beyond his youthful age. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, keep holding on to what you know is true. Living out the teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Studying the sacred word challenged him to grow. He headed for Montgomery, toward a fate he could not know. City buses, boycotts, peaceful marches in the street. A bomb thrown through a window, crown of thorns laid at his feet. Albany to Birmingham, St. Augustine to Selma, Boston, New York City, Chicago and D.C., carrying the burden and the banner of equality till 1968, April 4th, Memphis, Tennessee. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, we will speak for what we know is true. Living out the teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, we will speak for what we know is true. Living out your teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Living out your teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King.
So I'm going to do a few more songs here tonight, and then we'll wrap up the evening. But before I get on to the last bit of the show, I wanted to take a moment and talk about the Ark. Since 1965, the Ark has been working to support musicians, working to support folk music and cultural idioms in music that come from many different aspects of our culture. Folk is a big tent here at the Ark. And tonight's concert is the beginning of something that will hopefully help the Ark sustain itself as a community, as a music venue, as a meeting point for ideas. The Ark really is very unique in the folk circuit and in the music scene in the United States and around North America. And so tonight's concert is in part a benefit for the Ark. We're splitting all the proceeds evenly. So every dollar that you give, half of it goes to the Ark, half of it helps me keep a roof over my head and helps me keep going as well. So please be generous. But please also keep tuning into the Ark's website. There will be more live broadcasts. I joked about this being a beta test, but in a way it really is. We're testing the capacity of the Ark to transcend this moment and reach the people that have relied on the Ark for so many years, for now multiple generations, to bring to them the best in music that the world has to offer. And what a gift it is to have a venue like this anywhere. And those of you that live in the Ann Arbor community, A2, rock on. Those of you that are here, you have a treasure here that you may not even fully appreciate, but it is truly unique anywhere in the country. And so I'm hoping that those of you watching will be gracious and keep coming back to the Ark's website and check out what's going on here. Again, a huge shout out to Anya Siglin and to Barb and to Emily and to Alice and all the folks helping run the shows here. To our tech crew, we've got Joe Giza running sound, Corey, Ken, thank you, cameras and lights, and just what a treat to be here in this space and to stand once again on this stage. I have so many memories of being right where I'm standing right now. And I can recall moments from shows with many other artists that I've shared here in solo shows. I remember the first time I stood on the stage was with Matt Watroba, and it was in the fall of 2001, I think. And what an extraordinary experience that was. So we did a show to a packed house here, and I'm remembering the energy in the room that night, and I can still feel it. I can feel it from those of you watching. So please keep checking the Ark's website. Please come back and stay posted, whether it's Facebook or YouTube or however you connect to this. Please help keep supporting this amazing space and all of the people that are working so hard. The Ark is helping people stay on payroll. They're providing essential service in the community. And I have to tell you, as an artist, I consider it essential service. And it isn't about the fact that we connect here and engage in commerce. It isn't about the transactional relationship. What the Ark fosters is actual relationship. I have made friends in this room that have been with me for 20 years. I have made friends in this space and had conversations that were life-changing. I've had laughs backstage in the green room and meals with friends. I've made music on this stage that changed my life, and I know it helped affect the lives of other people. So please be gracious. Please help support the fact that this is a relational space, not a transactional one. There are too many places in this world where we have surrendered our lives and our communities to transactions rather than relationships. And it's the relationships that are going to help us turn the tide and build a better world.
Tempest tossed with hopeful hearts and calloused hands reach toward the light, the torch held high, and cast their gaze upon the lady of the harbor. And she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children hear. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. And so it was with my own kin. They sailed from Sweden and from France and Ireland, and their earthly cares packed in their bags. They cast their gaze upon the lady of the harbor, and she welcomed them with open arms. She said, let my children hear. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. Now we're locking down the borders and we're filling up the jails, and we say they don't belong. How conveniently do we forget that we've all come to sing the same sweet song? Will the dream survive the shade? Will huddled masses have a chance to learn its sweet refrain? Or will we fall into our fears and turn our backs against the lady of the harbor? And she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children hear. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. And she welcomes them with open arms. She says, let my children hear. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor. Oh you lady of the harbor.
I'm just trusting you all are talking to yourselves or talking to each other out there. I talk to myself all the time, but it is a little surreal to be in a room without people in it. So I really look forward to a time when we can all gather here, right in this room, together again. I look forward to a time when, even if we're a little bit distanced from each other, that we can gather for live music in person. There's nothing like it in the world. It lit my toes on fire as a child when I would listen to albums and listen to music, and it lit the fire in me that has pushed me down the road for these many years. You're also not supposed to tell people how old you are, but I'm going to tell you that I'm 48, and I have been playing music professionally since I was 14 years old. And and all of that. I'm one of the few people who got into folk music because it represented economic advancement, and that's saying something. But I grew up in a working class town, and Stephen Sondheim once said, "Never fall off of a low rung," and I like that idea. I like the idea that if you're gonna take a risk. Take a big one. If you're going to make mistakes, risk making big ones. You know, that's what live music is all about. And so many musicians have become better musicians because they played on this stage and played for you in these seats. And so please keep that in mind and keep doing everything you can to support not just the institution, but all of these people whose livelihood is also tied. How many lighting designers and technicians, how many videographers, how many sound people, how many wait staff, how many bartenders, how many volunteers it takes to make a place like this run. And many of them do, in fact, obviously not the volunteers, but the rest of the staff really rely on this place for their well-being. So when you help the ARC, you're not just helping a vague institution, you're helping people that you know and people that you've seen here and that you've met. And for those of you that are dialing in and have never been to the ARC, I hope that you have a chance to come here someday. It's an extraordinary place. Many of you know that I'm a dual U.S.-Irish citizen, and I normally tour Ireland every year, but this year, not so much. There was reservations about it early on, and then they said, no, those of you in the United States, you stay over there. Wisely, I might add. I sing this song when I'm feeling a little homesick for that other home. Ancestral home. I mean, I guess it could be my home if I wanted it to, but I'm here. And here I shall remain. Right here on this very stage. It's called The Coming of the Years. It's a song about celebrating the idea that we will, in fact, all be together again. Seems appropriate.
When I first came here to wander these mountains, my heart was tattered and torn. Ever the rover and all the world over, no land ever felt like a home. But here in the crags and the bogs and the valleys, I found some measure of ease, where the song of the wind is as sweet to behold as the beautiful rose of Tralee. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. Now I have been blessed to live a good life. I can count my friends by the score, and I have shared meals and moments of kindness. God willing, I'll know many more. But when the burden I've chosen to shoulder is more than I can stand, I find that my thoughts wander back up to Kerry, that rugged and beautiful land. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. When I have traveled all of my journeys and sung all of my songs, when I have given the best that I have and righted most of my wrongs, then take me back to the place that I love. Let me gaze out over the sea. Take me back to the mountains of Kerry and let my Spirit run free. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. And it's high up and over the mountains of Kerry that I love so dear. I don't know when I will see you again in the coming of the years. I don't know when, but I'll see you again in the coming of the years. I don't know when, but I'll see you again in the coming of the years. Got one more for you, and then we'll call it a night. I was delighted to be contacted by the Library of Congress Folk Archives, the Archive of American Folk Song at the Library of Congress, about doing a project with them this summer that involves me diving down a rabbit hole of American folk songs and coming up with a half-an-hour concert for the Library of Congress from the songs that I have researched and resurrected. And it started with this song, which is known to many as a blues song, but a lot of the blues artists sing only the first verse from the old Lomax field recordings. John Lomax, who had a very colorful life. Look him up on Wikipedia. You can go to joejencks.com. I've got an essay about John Lomax up on my website right now and about the work that he did. And it's a beginning point just to sort of whet your appetite for more information about the extraordinary contributions that the Lomax family made to American folklore, to capturing our songs and our ballads and our stories. And over the arc of his lifetime, John captured over 10,000 recordings. And he had probably what was the earliest mobile recording studio. He and his son, Alan, took a 315-pound aluminum cylinder recording phonograph device, and they bolted it into the trunk of the old family Ford in 1933, and they started traveling around making field recordings. And even then, John was very concerned. He'd published books about, cowboy poetry and ballads and all kinds of things, but he was very concerned about what was going on in the African-American culture, because even in 1933, there was a disproportionate number of African-American men imprisoned. There were laws that were unjust, and John understood this, but it also created a unique opportunity as he sought to capture part of a culture that had mostly been eradicated in the broader popular culture because of radio. Newer music was taking over, and the old songs that people used to sing were disappearing. And so that was why he was so driven to try and capture these recordings. And he traveled throughout the United States, but in particular in the South, meeting with people in churches and meeting with people in community halls and going into prison yards and recording the songs that people were singing. And this is a song that came out of one of the trips in the South, recording in a prison in Florida. And you may say, Joe's ending his show at the Ark with a Chain Gang song. Is it really that bad? For a lot of people, yes, it is. It is. And we have to hold that in our hearts. Stephen Foster wrote his song, Hard Times, the verse. As we seek mirth and beauty and music bright and gay, there are frail forms waiting at the door. Though their voices are silent, their pleading looks still say, oh, hard times come again no more. 'Tis the song, the sigh of the weary. Hard times come again no more. Many days you have lingered around our cabin door. Oh, hard times come again no more. Oh, hard times come again no more.
Stephen Foster wrote that more than a century and a half ago, and it's still true. There are still hard times, and there are still people that are unjustly affected by it, while others are less touched by it. If you're in a position to be generous in any way to anyone right now in the world, I think that's the most important thing to do, is to be gracious, be kind, be generous, be forgiving. As Utah Phillips used to sing, we're singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times. And we will keep singing through the hard times, in part because of a place like the Ark that makes a space for it. So I'll leave you with this song. It's called Take This Hammer, and I went back and painstakingly resurrected a traditional version of it with a lot more of the original verses in it than you normally hear. And I spent a lot of time in my studio with headphones on going, what? What did that say? What? It was like Whoopi Goldberg when she was in Jumpin' Jack Flash and she was trying to discern what Mick Jagger was singing in that song. She's like, Mick, talk to me, Mick. What are you saying? That's kind of how I felt listening to these Lomax recordings. I was like, what? Okay, let's tweak the high end. Maybe we can bring something out. No, not quite there. And but I figured out to the best of my ability what was being sung in that prison yard in 1939. Take this hammer.
Take this hammer and give it to the captain. Take this hammer and give it to the captain. Take this hammer and give it to the captain. Tell them I'm gone, Lord, tell them I'm gone. And if he ask you, was I running? If he asked you, was I running? If he asked you, was I running? Tell them I was flying, Lord, tell them I was flying. Captain, this old hammer too heavy. Captain, this old hammer too heavy. Captain, this old hammer too heavy for the likes of man, for the likes of man. Must be the hammer that killed John Henry. Must be the hammer that killed John Henry. Must be the hammer that killed John Henry. But it won't kill me, no, it won't kill me. This old hammer shine like silver. This old hammer shine like silver. This old hammer shine like silver. But it rings like gold, Lord, it rings like gold. Don't you make me wear those old cold shackles. Don't you make me wear those old cold shackles. Don't you make me wear those old cold shackles. 'Cause they wound my soul, Lord, they wound my soul. 25 miles, Lord, in Mississippi. 25 miles, Lord, in Mississippi. 25 miles, Lord, in Mississippi. Tell them I'm gone, Lord, tell them I'm gone. Lord, I'm coming to that Jordan water. Lord, I'm coming to that Jordan water. Lord, I'm coming to that Jordan water. Don't you let me drown, don't you let me drown. Take this hammer and give it to the captain. Take this hammer and give it to the captain. Take this hammer and give it to the captain. Tell them I'm gone, Lord, tell them I'm gone. Tell them I'm gone, Lord, tell them I'm gone. Tell them I'm gone, Lord, tell them I'm gone.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Ark for the first live broadcast from this stage. And please stay tuned for more. Thanks so much again to the Ark, to all the staff, to Anya Siglin, to everybody making this happen, Joe Giza running sound. Corey, can't thank you all so much for all your work this evening. And we'll see you soon, I hope, in one form or another. Have a good night.